what questions you have.
Okay. All right, let's see. Carlos is on with us. I think he went mute for a minute. Let's see.
Yes, ma'am.
So I guess probably the biggest, we've registered, but we want to make sure that registered correctly. And what all is available to us as we have it set up right now.
Do you have your DUNS number, your CAGE code?
Yes.
Go for it.
Okay.
I would memorize your CAGE code as soon as possible.
Okay.
Like my CAGE code is 5YMD1. I memorized 5 yellow mud ducks 1, so I never forget it.
Okay.
When a purchasing agent reaches out to you, or an agency, or someone wants to hire you and they ask you your CAGE code, you want to rattle that thing off like you've been using it for 100 years.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'll post it right now.
No problem. Are you guys, either of you active or retired military?
I am. One door.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, John, we saw, I watched a video last night of two guys that were similarly situated the way we are. Wendell being former military and me being non-military. And we were looking to get into, basically procurement. Procurement, I think you called them procurement specialists. And so I kind of saw a video similar to how I can conceptually see how we would operate.
Right. Yeah, as long as he's majority owner, 51% owner or more, then you can qualify as veteran owned.
Okay. What if we have a third individual? Is it just still majority, or does it still have to be 51%, or just majority owned?
It'd be majority owner.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Did you find your CAGE code?
Oh yes, I got it. Yep.
Okay. Yes.
6, P as in Paul, T as in Tom, 2, 9.
Look, I asked her to take me off the auto reply. Huh?
Wendell emailed it to me.
Okay.
Sorry, my fault.
Got it. Angela just brought a form over to me that you'd sent it to her already. And she said sorry.
Oh, no problem.
Okay. You guys have a website?
Not yet.
Okay. We definitely want to get that listed in here because we want to make it as easy for purchasing agents to hire you as possible. And we don't want as few reasons at all for them to say no. And, if they want to review information on your website or something like that, that could be a reason why they could say no. So we definitely want to get that done. If you guys aren't currently working on one, don't worry about it for now because we actually include a free website with our SAP program.
Okay.
All right, so Sam, I've got a few discrepancies in here, but it's not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Did I lose you guys?
No, I'm here.
Okay.
Okay, same thing. We need to get your website updated in here. You have to list the principals. So you're not compliant in DSBS without listing your principals.
Okay.
We need to get the non-federal certs, cap narrative, equipment, materials, percentages, all that stuff. Keywords. This is critical, guys. This system's designed specifically. It's the only system where purchasing agents can search you by keyword, and you don't have any keywords listed.
Okay.
So this is basically garbage right here without the keywords in it. Quality assurance standards, answer the export questions, stuff like that. We definitely want to list some past performing history references. So yeah, we definitely want to get that updated ASAP.
Okay.
Have you guys checked to see if you're in a hub zone or if you qualify for an 8A?
We are not.
Right.
You're saying you were not in a hub zone
Correct.
and you don't qualify for an 8A?
Not sure.
Because the qualifications for the 8A would mean you'd have to be in existence for a year to have one tax return, right?
Correct. That's one of the qualifications.
Yeah. So
And this
that one
new.
qualification. Yeah, we're a new business, essentially
Okay.
a new business starting up.
No problem. No problem. What we want to do is so hub zone, all you got to do to be qualified for hub zone is your primary office has to be located in a hub zone, and 35% of your employees have to live in a hub zone. It could be any hub zone. So if your office isn't in a hub zone, or you don't have a 35% of your employment living in a hub zone, you're not going to qualify for that. Will it benefit you to move to a hub zone? Yes, eventually. Is it going to help today? No. It takes 3-4 months to process. 8A takes up to a year to process. We're going to need that time to make sure you're properly in business, but also to build your client portfolio, to win as many contracts as possible. So you've got a balanced portfolio of clients. The government's not going to hire you unless you have the right past performance. And having that is, you have to prove to them that you are a steady business and you're going to be okay in order to qualify for the 8A. So it's going to take about a year to do that. It's not going to help you today. Are you familiar with the simplified acquisitions?
Yes.
Okay. You can search those because they're not put out for bid. That's why they're done as SAPs, because they're typically not put out for bid. That's where the government will be able to buy from you by simply calling or emailing and getting a quote. The rule of 2 is no longer mandatory, and there can be any dollar amount, and they tend to prepay on them as well. So I'm going to email all this to you. And you guys know how to search the simplified acquisitions?
No.
No.
So if I was going to search a keyword for your product or service, what would be the best keyword?
Let's do, we could look at, I guess one we're looking at is chemical solutions.
So this one was recently awarded for $140,000. Was done as a simplified acquisition. See that?
Mm-hmm.
And look at how many offers received.
One.
That's it.
Yeah.
You're going to see a lot of simplified acquisitions where there's not more than 3 offers, and generally there's only 1, so there's no competition.
John, is that because people are contacting the federal purchasing officer and kind of hooking up that way, or are people just not responding to quote unquote bids? Request for proposals or whatever?
That's for the most part because there's just not enough vendors that are registered. The rule of 2 is no longer mandatory. They don't have to get a second quote. And they are tending to prepay, so anyone can do the work. And, you know, just the whole mentality is there's so few small businesses that are compliant right now. It's crazy. If you look at the statistics, figure this, the old CCR, which is being replaced by SAM.
Yeah.
The old CCR had 160,000 small businesses that were active, more than 500,000. The new SAM only has about 160 small businesses that are active compared to the old system, which had more than 500,000. So you got 0.1% of the competition these days, number one.
Okay.
And as a veteran, you're getting set-asides, 8A, Hub Zone. These are all set-asides you can qualify for.
Okay. And as veteran and disabled veteran as well, was that there as well?
Yeah, SDV gets an additional 3% on top of the 5.
Okay.
Same type of contract, same deal, 1 offer received.
Yeah.
Let me ask a question about the different contracts. Just about the scope of them. Are all the contracts involving products, or do they also involve services?
No, there's all types of contracts that are put out. There's contracts for products and services. There's contracts for just products or services. There's contracts where they buy products, but they want them to be installed, which would be considered a service as well. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. And all that's going to be under the same process for securing them and bidding on them.
Yeah, that's all under the instructions to offer.
Okay.
I heard you on one of your videos. You mentioned as we submit bids. Let's say if it's $80,000 and we submit a bid, do we submit for 80 or do we? Because I heard you say something about 20%, and I couldn't quite follow that.
When you're invoicing, it's one thing because you invoice based on what you've supplied.
Okay.
But if you're going to, if they're going to order a certain percentage of widgets from you and they're going to order them all up front, then as soon as you supply them, then you invoice them for the entire contract.
Okay.
There's some occasions where they're going to have stuff set as a simplified acquisition, in which case you're not going to have to go out for bid on or anything. They just reach out to you and ask you for a quote or a proposal.
Okay.
In terms of the progression that you see from most successful contractors, do they start off with the simplified acquisitions and then move up to the bigger ones, or is it better just to kind of start bidding them, kind of do a blanket thing for all different sizes? Or
I teach my clients to attack this system from every angle. So I teach you to go after the primes to do sub work, bid on small to medium sized contracts, market yourself to primes, market yourself to federal purchasing agents, everything you need to be successful.
Okay. Do you find it easier to kind of, is it easier for you to kind of help people get into the system when they're a brand new business, or are there certain challenges being a brand new businesses?
Not really. I mean, purchasing agents don't really look too much into that anymore because there's so few businesses registered right now. You figure in the old system there was 650,000. They had plenty of people to choose from. The new system there's only 160,000 small businesses, so they got very little choice of who they're hiring, even though they're required to sub out 23% of it or to hire 23% small businesses. That makes sense?
It does.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Well, self-certify. Is that something that we look at, or should we have that done by someone? The agent, another agency?
If you're asking my opinion, I would not self-certify because 90%, 80, 85%, 90% of the people that self-certify do it wrong the first time. And they have to do it a minimum of 2 times to get it right. And you're talking on some of these systems, it could be over a year before your process. The main issue with self-certifying that I see is that people come to me and say, "Hey, John Wayne, I want to work with you because we tried to self-certify and we didn't win any contracts. We don't know why." I've heard all kinds of stories. I had one guy said he spent $100,000 trying to win government contracts over the last 8 months between his attorney and the guy he hired. They didn't win any. It's because they weren't compliant. Unfortunately, 80, 85% of the people that self-certify don't get registered properly. Even though most of them become active, they're still not compliant for what they're trying to accomplish. And with my training, for example, I include the basic registration in my training for no charge. I include a website, basic training, or basic registration and SAM and all that, elevator pitch, whole bunch of stuff. Because I don't want you guys investing time submitting bids and find out later you didn't win any because you had files, errors in your filings.
Okay.
Can you kind of take us through how your service works?
Yes. So we have 3 things we do here. We provide training. So every day I have training online via GoToMeeting at 1 and 4. So my clients always have access to me to work on bids, proposals, solicitations together, answer questions, etc., like we're doing now through GoToMeeting, but it's live. I also provide individual one-on-one training outside the group session. So if you've got something you want to discuss that you don't want to discuss in the group session, or it requires some level of clearance and I don't want to discuss it in the group session, you're going to have private one-on-one time with me as well. Second service we provide, which a lot of which I provide free with my training, is the registration process to get you registered and compliant, to make sure you're registered properly so you can invest time bidding and winning contracts instead of doing red tape. The third service that we provide is proposal writing services, where you can actually pay me to write a specific proposal for you. I'd rather teach you than do it for you. But, if you win a few and you want to go after a really big one and you're scared, you can let me know and I'll pull it up and give you a quote on whatever it costs for me to write it for you.
Okay.
How'd you guys find me?
YouTube.
YouTube. Okay. So, on YouTube under government contracts. Out of 600 something thousand videos, 689,000 videos, I got the #1 video.
Yeah.
Here's a funny one though. That's almost 700,000 videos are out there because everybody puts out videos on government contracts. Nobody puts out videos on instructions to offer, which is how you submit bids properly. There's only 288 videos on YouTube under instructions to offer. Almost all of them are mine. You know, because I put that information out there. I want you guys to be successful. Any other questions?
Well, we were interested. Yeah, we were interested in moving forward with your service. What would be the next steps?
If you guys said, you know what, John Wayne, I've seen enough of your videos to know I definitely want you on my team, I'd send you over, send your